Hello and welcome. So the next question we've had that's come in is regarding communal spaces and essentially providing lounges and communal areas for tenants in HMOs and whether you should or you shouldn't kind of do that. So we'll look at covering that in this video for you today. So the question on whether to provide a communal lounge in a property for HMO tenants does tend to get quite a lot of interest in HMO circles. With people on both sides of the fence, you get a lot of investors that, very large HMO investors, they've got a number of properties and been doing it for a number of years that don't provide communal lounges. They might give you a very large kind of kitchen space and that will be the communal area for the tenants in that property, but they don't tend to have one central lounge for tenants. And there's a number of reasons why they tend to do that, and partly it's because they want to increase the amount of bedrooms in the property. So by using that lounge space as a bedroom instead, obviously rapidly increases the potential or on paper returns that property can deliver. However, there's another significant kind of side of that coin, which is investors that want to provide a very nice, comfortable, long-term living space for their tenants and ultimately have a tenant or a property that's going to have very low tenant turnover. And personally, we found that the properties that have communal spaces tend to fit that bill the best, because if you're in a property from a tenant's point of view, if you view it from kind of their side of things really, and they're renting in a new area or a new property they've just moved into and there's no kind of social area, there's no lounge area, people do tend to be very fragmented and very separated. You tend to get higher turnover of tenants in that respect. People live in their rooms and it's not really the kind of the nice environment that you see in a lot of typical kind of HMO spaces where they do have shared accommodation, and it is quite a wide difference in terms of where we've seen from a personal perspective the tenant profile will typically attract on that basis. So if we're not providing communal lounges, that generally leads us to a different end of the kind of the working tenant market, or it leads to local housing allowance or social housing type properties. However, when you do provide a nice kind of communal area, a nice living space, it attracts a lot wider group of professional tenants. You get a much lower tenant turnover, and you also get better kind of tenant quality. As you said, a different tenant profile in terms of a different scope of the tenant or working professional kind of tenant market. So if you can provide that communal living space, it's well worth doing so. In terms of sizes, ideally you want something around 10 square meters and above, and that gives people enough space to obviously have a small dining table, sofas, TV area, all that kind of good stuff that you would usually have in a communal space like that. So hopefully that helps answer the question and gives a bit of an insight in terms of where we typically look at providing our HMOs. And we've done both in the past. We've had HMOs without any communal living space, and certainly now and going forward we favour providing those lounges, those communal spaces for tenants, because ultimately we see over the very long term, when you're looking at providing a service to clients, and tenants are going to be your clients, they're going to have competition and they're going to be able to go out there and look at a number of different kind of rooms available to let, and ultimately we want ours to let first and for the best tenants and also for the longest kind of time frame and at the highest rates as well. And that's where we see providing a communal lounge gives us kind of that benefits over and above potential of the competition in the area. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page. And in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started, either building a long-term property portfolio or creating a cash flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the properties you're maybe considering. And we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.